Back when I was a child, about 10 years old, my father brought me under his wing and put me to work, which was good. He had me picking up large rocks, tossing them out of the yard and into the woods so he could then tractor and rake all the soil into a bedding for a lawn. Then ever since then, I'd be landscaping with my dad much of my free time. It was enjoyable, but at the same time I was a kid, so I wanted to play a bit. All through middle school and high school, I kept working. And during that period of time, I didn't feel as though I could say anything about it, like whether or not I'd be working. So I was actually afraid. So instead, I just worked. I didn't want to upset my dad. So then after high school, it came time for me to pursue my own passions, which I was very excited about. I wanted to work in the film industry, originally for Pixar as a computer animator, but after I got to work on an extra job in a local film, I pursued the stunt industry. It seemed to align more with my lifestyle. So with full support and encouragement from my parents and family, I packed up and headed out to LA. And about 4 years later, I packed back up and drove home. And I found myself landscaping again. It's what I knew and was good at, so it was always a good plan B. But I would spend my days working and thinking about what I would be doing if I wasn't landscaping. I'd find myself imagining making movies, creating animations, filming projects with friends, editing, coming up with stories to tell, all this fun stuff that I really enjoyed. But that was the life I had imagined, and it wasn't the life I was living. It was the life that I wanted to pursue and tried to pursue, but failed when I actually tried. And after giving up on my passions to come back and commit my career to my dad, I found I was still not able to tell him that it's not what I wanted to do. I did not want to continue landscaping. I thought that would be disloyal and it'd be a lack of integrity because I'd be going back on my word. I found I was stuck. If I go off on my own, I fail. If I stay where I'm given responsibilities, I succeed, but I'm drained. And there's nothing that I'm doing that's filling my cup. So, luckily, one day, a now good friend came to subcontract with us. And the situation kind of went like this. My dad told him what the schedule was for work, and he said, "Nope, that's not gonna work with my schedule." My jaw dropped when I heard someone tell my dad no. I had never experienced that before, and I was curious as to exactly what was gonna happen. My dad, surprisingly and simply, yet reluctantly, said okay, and proceeded to schedule around our friend's schedule. And my dad and our friend remained good acquaintances, contractors, to this day. After that moment, I realized someone could stand up to my dad and not get shred to pieces. So over time, I ended up being more honest with my dad. And over time, I ended up becoming my own subcontractor to my dad and to several other companies. I had finally gained the autonomy and a growing respect from my dad that I guess I had longed for a while. But now I faced another problem. I was able to stand up to that and start scheduling my own time. But when I found myself with my own time to pursue my own passions, I wouldn't accomplish anything. So I found I didn't have the discipline outside of working for someone. I had a hard time creating my own work. I had a hard time creating ideas and finishing projects for myself. It was way easier to be given projects to do rather than create my own. So now, where my life is rather in balance, I have autonomy over my schedule, I still find myself getting aggravated that I'm not creating. So, as much as I thought work was the obstacle of me pursuing my passion and creating, it was actually my lack of discipline this whole time. Because I went from no autonomy to autonomy. But what came with that autonomy was my waywardness. Now, I need to put my foot down and discipline myself in my own passions. Lead myself and get out of my own dang way. And I'm finding that's not an easy thing to do. But I have no other option. Or I would say I'm not going to give myself another option this time.